Regret can be a life sentence, and the messed up part is that you're the judge, the jury, and the defendant all at once. I spent a lot of time thinking that I could and should fix my regrets, that if I just analyzed them enough, apologized enough, suffered enough, I could somehow scrub them clean. Like regret has some kind of cosmic loyalty punch card where enough shame punches gets you a free redemption. Terms and conditions apply. Peace not guaranteed and may cause additional self-loathing. Punches are only earned through excessive overthinking, public humiliation, or yelling, "I'm fine," when you're clearly not fine. I feel like we've been sold this idea that regret is a personal problem to be solved, that it's fixable, that you should work through it and let it go. Like regret is just some kind of emotional constipation that needs more fiber and positive thinking. Just drink some kombucha and manifest your way out of that life-altering mistake, Heather. That's the sales pitch, right? Buy the workbook, meditate, forgive yourself, light a candle, and boom, no more regret. But what if the whole idea of beating regret was always a losing battle? Now, I don't have a PhD in regretology. I'm not a therapist. This is just my take on regret, what it's cost me and what it's taught me and what I do now, because pretending that it should have disappeared by now has never worked for me. For me, some regrets aren't meant to be healed. I sometimes let mine rot in the back of my brain until it turns into something useful. Some days it really stinks, but eventually something grows. And that thing that grows, well, it's not normally what you'd think. It's not peace, it's not forgiveness, or some kind of insta-penta-talk worthy wisdom. It's something way more dangerous and way more useful. But first, you need to know what you're actually dealing with. First of all, regret isn't guilt, okay? It's not embarrassment, it's not shame. It's not about right or wrong. Regret is about loss. Guilt shows up when you break your own rules, right? Oh, I did something bad. That's guilt. You violated your code and you know it. Shame is when you decide that you are the problem. It's about identity. I'm a bad person. That's shame. It's not about what you did. It's about who you think you are. Now, embarrassment, that's just social math gone wrong. I waved at someone I didn't know. That's embarrassment, right? It'll make you cringe, but it won't keep you up at night 20 years later. Well, in theory. Regret is personal. It shows up when something that you did or didn't do cost you something that you can't get back. Regret's kind of an asshole, and it has terrible timing. Mine usually shows up the second that I find the perfect sleep position and just whispers, perfect. I regret not taking better care of my finances. I regret not learning how to make my grandmother's pork chops before she passed away. I regret every meeting that I stayed silent while someone else took credit for my work. Regret doesn't give a damn how good your intentions were. You might have been doing your absolute best with the information that you had, but it doesn't matter. Your intentions don't cancel the outcome, and you still live with the fallout. Sometimes you stayed too long. Sometimes you left too soon. Sometimes you said nothing when you should have said everything, or you said too much when silence would have saved you. Regret is the receipt for the choices that cost more than you knew you were paying. And some of those choices are so expensive, they rewrite your entire story about who you are. That's where it gets dangerous. Most regrets cost you something, a friendship, a version of yourself, time that you can't get back. But some regrets cost you something bigger. They cost you the story that you tell yourself about who you are. Now, I'm 54 years old, and of course, I have some regrets in my life. Many have fallen away as I've aged, but there is one memory that still sneaks up on me a lot, like at least once a month. And it's not just one of my biggest regrets. It's one of the few things that still disgusts me about a part of me that I've spent my life trying to never be again. It cost me a lot of things, but mostly it cost me the right to say that I was a good person. Whenever I think that I'm a good person, my brain just kind of coughs like it inhaled water while laughing. There was a time in college where I used someone on purpose for what they could give me, and I've never stopped feeling sick about it. I was charming when I needed something, but I was unavailable when they needed something back. 5-star manipulation and generally being a garbage person. 0 stars for basic human decency. I didn't treat them like a person. I was awful. No excuses. I don't even recognize that girl, but I know that I've spent my life making sure that she never comes back. I go back and visit that memory a lot. I've reached out and apologized several times to this person, but I will never feel forgiven. Ever. ever. At this point, I've apologized more times than I've actually hurt them, which I'm pretty sure is just emotional spam. Some part of me still wants to believe that they understand, that they know I'm not a monster. But the truth is, I am not owed peace just because I finally told the truth. What's something that you did that still messes with how you see yourself? Not the big story that you tell, just the one tiny moment that makes you cringe. Put it in the comments if you feel comfortable. You're not the only one. Because here's what I've learned. Some damage can't be undone. An apology doesn't erase what happened. It just names it. Regret doesn't just take up space in your head. It takes things from you. Identity, memory, sleep. It's not just the moment that you regret. It's everything that happens after. That one choice didn't just cost me them. It cost me decades of trusting myself. Here's the thing. Regret doesn't mean that you're waiting for closure. It is the closure. The story is over. You lost. But this isn't the bottom. This is just where the spiral starts and your brain tags in like it's got next. I used to spiral every time any regret showed up. Here's what I should have done. Here's what I should have said. Here's how I could go back and unruin it. But here's what your brain does with regret, okay? It turns it into a twisted time machine. You keep going back to the scene of the crime, not to solve it, but to punish yourself for it. It's like having your own personal Netflix series, except it's just one episode that plays over and over again, and it's called, well, that was unnecessary. You replay it obsessively. Like if you can just run the simulation enough times, you'll find the magic sequence that changes the ending. The thing is that it never ends differently. No matter how many times I rerun the scenes in my head, the ending is always the same. I keep hoping for a plot twist. Nope. Same idiot, same ending every single time. I still lose. I still look away. I still walk out. I still say the thing that ruins it all. Your brain convinces you that this is reflection, that you're processing, right? Processing my ass. I'm just running a highlight reel of my personal failures like it's the Super Bowl of stupidity. Half my one-on-ones are just people asking me to referee their mental highlight reels and handing me trauma footage like, Coach, what went wrong? I'm out there throwing emotional penalty flags like, that's a 5-yard penalty, bringing up your ex again, repeated overthinking, emotional roughing, loss of progress, third down. Sorry, football's starting. It's not reflection. You're on an episode of Judge Judy, and Judge Judy is also you, and she's pissed. Your judgy dog, that's the bailiff there. The plaintiff, yep, that's also you. The audience shaking their heads in disappointment, yep, that's you too. And the worst part, every time you replay it, you're not just reliving the original pain, you're creating new pain. You're disappointed in yourself all over again. You're angry that you still care. You're frustrated that you can't seem to let it go. So now you don't just regret what you did 20 years ago, you regret that you're still thinking about what you did 20 years ago. Regret just breeds more regret. Here's what that mental loop actually does to you, okay? It keeps you stuck in the past while convincing you that you're working on yourself. You think that all that ruminating is growth. It's not. It's not. It's just rehearsing your failure until it becomes your whole freaking personality. But wait, there's got to be a point to all this suffering, right? Right? And that's when you discover the real scam. Let me tell you what regret will never do for you, no matter how much you feed it, okay? Regret will not time travel you back to undo what happened. Now, I know this seems obvious, but for some reason, your brain hasn't gotten the memo. Regret will not earn you forgiveness from the person that you hurt. Even if they say they forgive you, you won't believe them. Even if you believe them, you probably won't forgive yourself. Regret will not prove to the universe that you're a good person who just made a bad choice. The universe doesn't keep score, and your suffering doesn't balance the scales. And regret will definitely not make you feel better. That's not what it's for. If you're waiting for your regret to transform into peace, you're going to be waiting forever. But here's what really pisses me off. There's like an entire industry that feeds off of your regret, trying to sell you solutions that ultimately, in my opinion, make it worse. Just journal about it. Great. Now I'm documenting my spiral in real time. Thanks. Dear diary, today I thought about that thing again for the 47,000th time. I still hate myself a lot, but the weather was nice. Practice self-forgiveness. Cool. Now you feel guilty about not being able to forgive yourself fast enough. Awesome. Look for the lesson. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes the only lesson is that you fucked up and it can't be unfucked. They've turned regret into another thing that you can fail at, another way to feel broken when their techniques don't work. At this point, regret isn't a feeling, it's a freaking hobby. One you didn't mean to start, and now you're accidentally really good at it. So, if regret can't fix the past, earn forgiveness, prove your goodness, or make you feel better, and all the advice about it just makes you feel worse, what the hell is it actually for? All right, here's my take on it, okay? Regret isn't broken. You're not broken. The system that told you that regret needed to be fixed, that's what's broken, okay? Here's what happens when you stop trying to heal the damage and you start using it. Regret isn't a glitch, it's data. It is your body's way of remembering where it hurt you last time. It's not trying to ruin your life, it's trying to make sure that you don't repeat the worst parts of it. Now, I think of regret as that really annoying, honest friend that reminds me of things that I either forgot or convinced myself weren't that bad. There is a strength in that scar tissue. Regret isn't proof that you're broken. It's proof that you know exactly what it cost you. Because here's the thing. Regret is not trying to teach you to be a better person. It's trying to teach you that you never want to be that person ever again. Regret serves a purpose. It's a warning label, a scar with instructions, emotional braille, if you will. The goal isn't to make it go away. It's to use it. Listen to it. Regret doesn't whisper guidance. It yanks the wheel when you're about to recreate the crash. You can live with regret and still become someone that you're proud of. Just don't hand your future to the version of you who caused it. I said earlier that sometimes something grows out of the stink of regret right in the back of my brain, and something did grow, just not what I expected. I learned that I am capable of being the villain in someone else's story, and that knowledge never leaves me. Some regrets are background noise, right? Cringe that you carry around. Others are the sirens, the ones that change your whole route. I listen to both, but I don't let either one drive anymore. They can just sit their asses in the back seat and have absolutely no input on the playlist. I'm not saying that every regret needs to become a permanent reminder. Some regrets are just information, like wishing that you'd taken that trip or you asked that person out. Those might actually push you to book the next flight or to start the conversation. I've got plenty of those too. Regrets that taught me to speak up in meetings, to take more risks, to stop waiting for permission. Those regrets became fuel, and that worked. But there's a difference between a regret that says do this differently next time and a regret that says never be this person again. The first kind, yeah, maybe channel that into action. The second kind, that's the one that needs to stay put and keep watch. The knowledge that I am capable of being someone's villain isn't a burden I carry. It's a superpower I have. Now, it's not a cute power, but it gets the job done. Every time someone tries to manipulate me, every time that I'm tempted to cut corners with someone I trust, every time I have to choose between what I want and what's right, my regret shows up like a bouncer at my brainstem and says, hey, we've been down this road before. You don't want to go there again. I am not that girl anymore. Not because I've healed or grown or found some magical self-forgiveness formula. I'm not her because I refuse to be her. That's what regret really teaches you. Not how to feel better about what you did, but how to make sure that you never have to feel that way again. Regret taught me about the kind of person that I wanted to be. But fear taught me to pre-regret everything just in case. And that might be the most quietly destructive habit of all. We need to talk about what fear really stole. Let's unravel that mess right here.